She's on an airplane, is she?
She is driving, no, but she is delayed and that's why she's zooming. I'm just happy to see her.
She's driving the car and zooming?
No, I don't think she's zooming. She might be zooming.
I'm zooming, but I'm in the passenger seat.
All right, 6 o'clock, I will call the meeting to order. Proceeding, you have the roll.
Yep.
I will dispense with the pledge unless there is an objection. And hearing none, if we could get an approval of this evening's agenda. Motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Might want to speak up, everybody, so Lori can.
Lori, you're having trouble hearing?
No, I can hear you.
Okay.
Just in case Dawn was not your normal voice, but
Sorry.
that's all right. Project.
Old business. Our PER report.
I talked to Tim this morning and basically said we're just still waiting on the suppliers to give us numbers.
Okay.
He's gonna start logging them again and again. See what he can do, just waiting like a month and a half since the last time I logged the got a treatment plant with the numbers, so. Keep logging.
So it's mostly on the water plant then?
Yeah, it's just getting like the stuff that we can't estimate that well, that we can have all the water, sewer, street, all that kind of stuff that's estimated, like be like the treatment plant and then some of the controls out at the ponds and stuff like that, where they have, we'll have reps actually do the estimates.
Okay. Can't go any place without it, so.
No, because you have to have your final numbers, not final numbers, but you have to have all the numbers accounted for when you get submitted.
Any other questions? Mike, did you have anything on that either? Or
Nope.
No? The Jeremy Regional Capital Appropriation Project.
So Lori and I attended the board meeting last Tuesday night. I thought it was a really good meeting. I believe the board members there really, were very recipient to a lot of the feedback that we discussed. I think I've cleared up some communication gaps that we've been having and some understanding. And I think going forward, we'll see a better transparency about what they need, what we can do for them and so forth. But I provided in the revision of the agenda, the meeting minutes that Paula sent me. And what I wanted to touch on was we spent a decent amount of time discussing the library renovation relocation project that's been discussed the last almost 2 years. And gave them the pros and cons, basically explained to them, you know, what the city councils looked at for buildings. They don't want to move forward in that direction, and we need some cohesiveness between the two boards. Long story short is they definitely moved forward with agreeing that a renovation plan is needed, and they're recipient to it. So they all voted to allow that renovation and addition plans to go forward with.
Yeah.
They definitely want to be part of those plans. So they asked me a lot of like, what would be the next steps? I provided them an example of like using when we went through the renovation and remodel at the liquor store as a plan. We had Lidseth come in, do a very good study on the existing facility, what it had, what it needed to be improved. And then what it could look like for costs if we added on. I said it would look similar to that. They were all in favor of that. They definitely, we had a long conversation about the front door. They still would like to see the front door replaced. They believe it's not only, hard to lock, which we know we've kind of kicked that around a lot. It's not very heat friendly, like it lets a lot of cold air out. So they would like to have the city definitely put some money into next year's budget, looking at that, because when we did the upgrades to the entrance and the sidewalk last year, that pretty much ate up whatever we had in the levy left over for the building. And I told them we couldn't do both. They thought everything was gonna get done. That obviously wasn't the case. So what I wanted to tell the board tonight was, I'm looking at, requesting approval to see if Woodseth would review the existing building and give us a good snapshot of, can we move forward with an addition? Is the building structurally sound to be able to add on? How much could we add on? And what could we take the existing footprint inside the building and modify or renovate to make best use of the space? That was my biggest selling point to that board. They all agreed that that was a good plan. Their two big selling points obviously are they want a private meeting space and they want a tech area. So tonight before the meeting, I let Caleb into the facility and he took a bunch of pictures. So I might come to the main meeting with the request to have a feasibility study done on the library from the board. Tim Rammer believes that it would be more cost efficient if we combined the request for City Hall and add the library together as one report. Combine the,
Yeah, and the big
the staff
thing
time.
with that too is if we combine them, they won't really get this done in 30 days because, the early season will approve the library when we the next council meeting.
Mhm.
But since most of them are coming from Baxter and farther structural engineering and stuff like that, making one trip will be very advantageous. I don't know that number.
No.
We haven't put together a formal proposal yet. This just kind of came up
In
recently.
the last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I hope to have that May 6th for you guys to consider. But all in all, I think Lori and I walked away from that meeting really positive. We've got everybody on the same page now.
Good.
And I think that's the way to go. It's my eyes, it looks like there's a fair amount of space between the rear of the building and the alleys. Should be
Yeah.
room to construct something.
Yeah, one of the board members asked if we could go and put a second level on the building. I said not without putting elevator in the building. And I tried to explain to them accessibility is important with a public building. And we have to work within the parameters we have, but I just think, for my own personal observation, both of those restrooms are really, really big. One would probably be sufficient. That would take 200 square feet alone and put back out for public use. Even the entryway is not being very well utilized. So I think there's options out there to take the space that they have and make it more usable to the public.
I would agree.
There's a lot of wasted space in that building.
I would agree, and I think there's a lot of unnecessary storage in that building right now. I understand that the Friends of the Library Board, that their book sale is very advantageous to their fundraising, but they are completely constrained for storage. And it can't be in our facility. It just can't. There's no room for any of that. you're blocking doors. and
No,
you're
you
blocking,
can't.
you
Can't
know,
do that.
walkways. You know, you've got a fire hazard, there's all kinds of stuff that I think we could probably make better.
It's a good take a look at it.
Lori, do you have anything to add?
Zumi,
Not that, no, I don't think so.
that about sums it up. Any other questions? Don?
No, actually, it's nice to hear that they're all kind of on the same page finally. We haven't had any response from these. From any of these ladies for a long time, or. From the city and the library people for a long time.
Yeah, we went over that too, Don. I think there was just a miscommunication on that part, so the people that are on the board going forward, I think there's gonna be a more clear communication.
Item C,
So the rail bank conveyance, I still don't have any updates for the council. I spoke with Rachel Merrill today. She's still waiting to hear back from the state again. You might recall that we discussed that they're looking to add some additional, land that was overlooked when they first had it staked out and didn't come up in the original conveyance. So right now it's in committee at the state before it comes back to us. So it's just still unfortunately on a holding pattern,
the waiting game,
a waiting game. Yep.
good enough. Something from the duck restoration.
So after, Tony Clares was here last week or last meeting, I went ahead and applied for that Landon Foundation grant that was discussed for the duck restoration, just to see if I can get a little extra padding on the budget. Mike and I have had conversation about what we'd like to see around the historic duck for landscaping. Obviously, the bench is in poor condition. We pulled out a lot of those hedges in the last few years. We're more in the mindset of making you know, just a concrete area around the statue instead of grass. It's harder for public works to get in and out of there all the time. Mike's gonna try to get some numbers from me, so I have a better understanding on what those additional costs might come to. I did get email from Blandon just about an hour before the meeting that my pre-application was accepted to move forward for a final application for the grant. And that's due on May 10th, so I'll get working on that as soon as I can get some more numbers. I didn't ask for a ton more money because we've, you know, completed our unnecessary ones to cover Jensen conservation. But a little extra will help with the surface around.
When's he supposed to be coming in?
Last I got from him on Wednesday, he will either be here the first part of June or late May. Hopefully, when I get closer, I'll have an exact date.
And that brings us to the stage update, which I talked with Sydney on that, and I've talked with Jake, and I had another conversation with Mike. And everybody's, it's gonna have to be a kind of a dead in the water issue, especially for this, as far as the city's concerned. I mean, but I did approach them, and the family will be getting back to me about if they wanted to move that donation to another area. They mentioned the beach.
Mhm.
And the duck actually came up also as part of a possible spot for some of the funds to go to. But like I said, I'll be talking with them again later this week.
So to be clear, there is no final decision at this point.
There is no final
Okay.
decision at this point, except that to me, you're not building a stage, they're not building a stage.
That's the feedback you're getting.
Yeah,
There-
that is
okay.
that there's nobody's gonna be willing to do it. There's nobody to spearhead a project.
Nobody wants to.
Is it due in part to the fundraising
It
addition
is.
that needs to be done?
That is my take on it, Christina, exactly, in that the amount of money, it's more than double
Mhm,
since the beginning.
right. Did they have-
Well, I think it's a great idea. I don't know that it's feasible at this time. or
Did they
the-
have like
or-
a hard set date that they want to make a decision?
They have not made a hard
Oh,
set
okay.
date yet. And I am constantly informing them, it's up to you guys, it's up to them. When they want, if they want the money back, if they want or if we can move forward with a different route. But so far as yeah, I don't know if it's a matter of timing. To be honest.
Okay.
I would, however, like to see something done for them, for the family. I mean, you're willing to make that sizable, it's a sizable donation, and it would be nice to have something. My opinion.
I mean, I agree, but I think the whole project idea is fantastic. It's just, it's gonna take more fundraising. It's gonna take time. I realize it's already been almost 2 years since the original donation has been made. But
And
it would probably take almost that minimum amount of time to get a project off and running, to even get started. I mean, it took us 3 years just to get the beach done, to the
And-
point where it is now 4 years, actually.
And with our conversations that we had with Tony at the last meeting, I was kind of, if we had a good planning resource, the Wayside Rest is a great place. If you have a good plan, and I mean a whole plan,
Right.
the information center, the bathrooms, the playground. Is there a way to better use that space?
Right.
And if we just. You don't wanna halfway do it,
Sure.
at a stage that's not gonna. In 5 years, it doesn't fit right because you wanna redo everything, the whole outlook of it, something like that.
Sure.
Anybody else, any questions on it, or? Christine?
So the city hall repairs project, I met with my partners from Beltrami Electric last week. It sounds like they have great partnership from Minn Kota that have already been part of this, Red L, USDA program. So they've got some good resources to get their application going, and, resources with USDA as well. So we've committed to meeting every 2 weeks to keep moving forward on this process. I've explained to them that, we're doing a study on the building that will give me the necessary business plan requirement of the application as the end borrower of the money. And, yeah, they're really excited. I gave a couple of the staff a little bit more of a tour of the building, from creepy downstairs to the parapet and our neighbors next door. So everybody understands, what's needed, and, hopefully we'll just keep on moving forward. So, yeah, and in order to stay on top of the process, we're gonna meet every 2 weeks.
Is there a plan in place now for being out to the street, to the sewer?
Mike and I still have to meet on that. I think that's gonna end up being separate prior to any of the renovations for City Hall to get done, because we definitely need to make sure that that line next door is capped off. It didn't get crushed. So we don't have any other problems inside the building. And I don't think that that can wait.
No.
And, the
So-
owner of the property next door already knows we're gonna have to dig next door to find out where that is.
Okay.
But not a solid plan yet, Max.
There's something we can do about the goose blowing sign up there? They're not ours. Or we can talk to someone. and, hey,
I know, I noticed that. I don't like heights, so I'm not gonna go up there. I don't know how the dang thing got up there in the first place. It's right on the edge. It's gonna require a really tall ladder to get that thing fashioned, but pulling it off, if you've looked at the old
I see
Anderson sign, looks even worse.
I see what's underneath it.
I
yeah,
don't
and
think aesthetically either one of them are great right now. I mean, I'm more apt to like take the one that's flapping around just completely off. Because I think it's just gonna keep on,
Is that on our building? Is it on?
that parapet is on our building.
So many things.
I'm on the labor to nail it down, should be fairly. Do it from the roof, I think.
Yeah. I honestly say take it off, so. What's it look like up
I'll do
there?
whatever you guys wanna do.
What's it look like up
I've
there,
been
Mike?
watching it myself and wondering
too.
if they were gonna do anything about it or not.
I see, cause I was under the impression that it was on
Are you sure it's not on there?
their building.
No, our building does not extend there.
Do they even know what's to do?
Yeah,
When Cornice Roofing came and looked at the building. And he went up there and took all those pictures. That parapet is on that wall. I mean, I didn't climb up there myself to verify it, but I'm not a roofer, so
well, I'm wondering then, if that's the case, then why is their logo on our building?
that goes way before me. I
I
couldn't honestly tell you.
just kind of,
Who owns the building?
Which building are you
Next
referring to?
door.
And, the shade store.
What should be up to them to take care of it.
It's tied into both buildings. It kind of sits on ours, but it's also tied into the side of theirs. And the flashing for their roofing comes over it.
okay, so. You wanna just,
It looks worse underneath it.
That's what I said. I
I can,
mean, yeah,
I can have one of my guys go up there and
tack it down?
tack it down, you know.
you
I
think you
that's
guys
the
are,
cheapest,
We'll
You
come
think
up with
it's-
something.
Well, I mean. is
I
it-
didn't want to volunteer your guys without like a boom lift or a really tall ladder and a harness
You
and.
do it from the roof.
We'll do it.
Okay,
How about, is the, material behind it good enough to hold the tag?
Doesn't look real nice from what I just saw, but we'll figure out a way to do something.
I would appreciate that.
Not
Okay.
a problem.
I think a lot of people in town would appreciate that.
Yeah, like I said, I've been looking at it
Okay,
too, but
thank you.
it's kind of a shared exterior wall almost. It's really odd how it's set up out there. In my opinion, it's theirs, but we'll go up and do it.
And if there's, I don't think you'll get any,
I can't imagine so.
thank you, Mike.
Yep.
okay, that was kind of off topic, but.
That's okay. Thought had crossed my mind about it too, but
Yeah, well, at least it
Figured
kind
it
of
would
fell
go-
into the right spot there.
I figured the right gust of wind at some point would take the whole thing off. Its own, and it would be like, you know, out. Wizard of Oz kind of thing, it would be gone. Sorry.
No, it's. Anything else on the,
On the sales tax thing. I made one small revision, to ballot question 2. That was,
trail extensions?
yeah,
trail
and that was in relation to Dawn's question at the last meeting about how detailed it was. I went back into the resolution and clarified how the resolution was sent to, how it was approved and how it was sent to the legislation, and it's a lot more vague. So I changed the ballot question, so it's a lot less language and not so specific, which gives us a little bit broader ability to use the money.
Cause I didn't think it had that other wording.
It's really, it's kind of a little bit of both, because the presentation that was helped us create to get it approved with the tax committee had a lot of that language in there. But then when our bond council put together the resolution, they narrowed it down a lot more based upon all the history and the conversations that we've had. So, and what the state approved. But beside that, the other thing I did was I reached out to Beltrami County, because 5 questions, ballot's only so big. And I'm like, okay, is there an expense with this? Because you don't pay much to have our elections, right? And this is the first opportunity to actually have this. So I asked Jody Treat if there is a cost. And if so, what could she estimate? So I sent her a ballot questions and she was like, "Ooh, you have 5. That's a lot." And I said, "Yep, I know." She was trying to find ways to make it less language and less space on the ballot. But ultimately, this is the platform, the way we have to have it worded. It has to be 5 separate questions. She said, yes, there is a cost for programming and printing, and it's allocated per inch. She couldn't estimate what those costs are right now. If we have a really high voter turnout, there could be a higher ballot expense. But she looked back at our 2020 voter turnout, which was 80%. So she really didn't expect us to have to print a lot more ballots for just us, for just our voting precinct. And obviously, the ballot questions would only be on our precinct. So there, yes, there will be a cost. What it will be, we don't know, but probably not as high as they had to do for the jail. That's countywide. And hopefully when I get closer, she'll be able to give me an idea. But their question was really short and sweet. It did not fill up a ballot because it was the only thing on there. But yeah. So that's where I'm at with that, for any updates going on.
Just put it all into one and just let it used for blank, 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 and just be done, make, short little list.
But it was certain people don't remember that. We talked about that for certain people might not want this and certain people might want this, and
Yeah.
it's gonna get all the voters.
We're not the only city that have done something like this, maybe not necessarily 5 projects. But I used a template based off of Wake Park. And they had 3 ballot questions and they were all, the language was pretty similar except for that one specific project that kept changing. And it's exactly what the league and our attorney said.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, nothing else on that then? Transfer station, recycling bins.
Nothing new there. I reached out to ask if there was any word, last week sometime. And they were supposed to be having another meeting coming up, and he was gonna let me know after that, so. As soon as I hear anything, I'll let you guys know.
On that same note, I hope everybody noticed that the transfer station hours in Blackduck have changed. They are not open on Mondays now.
Right.
We're already getting calls here because people are upset. And they want to know what the hours are. I know it was out there. I know it was in the byline. I know people have been notified, but there's still.
Now it's on YouTube.
Fantastic.
And they're also, Wally didn't do this out there, but they're charging for everything that goes in the bypass bin.
Oh, they're supposed to.
But Wally didn't.
Wally didn't do that, yeah.
I was talking to the new guy out there and I went to dump one of my garbage cans in the bypass bin. There was three little things in it. I was just emptying the garbage. He goes, that's $7 or $8. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he looked in there and I said, there's three little things in there. I mean, I could put it in a Walmart bag. He goes, oh. So he kind of explained to me that things are changing. So
Good enough, though, yeah. Won't get anybody. The punch list, my favorite word.
Still working on it,
Right.
getting closer.
Any more?
It is shortening.
Yeah, every couple weeks it shortens up a little bit.
Okay.
Anything more on the windows, or is that still?
Halfway there on that.
Yep.
Yeah, something they can spray them today and then
We're gonna give it-
resealed everything and.
We're gonna give it a couple days to dry and hopefully lock up, and then I'll go and spray them with water again and see if they quit leaking. Get closer.
Local Board of Appeals.
Public Works equipment,
Oh, sorry.
that's okay.
You want a Public Works Committee meeting?
Yeah, this financial thing is just a little bit more detailed and I'd like to get myself, Mike and you and Nick together. Preferably next week if it's at all possible.
You got a day?
Fine, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's fine. That's how you want to spend your vacation. Okay.
How does May 2nd work for you three? That's Thursday.
Whatever works.
Give it a shot.
Oh, I thought you said Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm sorry. Any day but Tuesday and Thursday. I'm so sorry, Nick. Wednesday, the first?
Yep.
Okay,
First. Got time?
3 p.m.
Three,
Okay,
earlier?
three.
three's good.
Okay, 3. Thank you. Perfect.
Sure, I cancel all my doctor's appointments.
Now you can remind everybody of the local border.
The local board of appeals,
Yeah.
in case you got something you want to talk about.
Then because that's at 1 o'clock, we're not closing for lunch that day. That way, the public can get in before, and of course, the county staff can get in too, so we will be open.
And just so everyone knows, that's for your property taxes.
What's the attendance like in the past?
Hit or miss, 3-4 people, because it also, when we hosted here, it also covers Hines Township too.
Just Hines and Blackduck, it's not.
That is correct. They do one at Summit Town Hall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not Summit.
That I think hosts Langer and Summit together. And then I think they go west and do another one. For like Hagler and them.
Okay,
And I apologize, but John must have got his dates wrong again. I just talked to him on Friday.
no, not a problem. We'll have it drafted if you want to.
I have it drafted. I will do it on the sixth for you guys
We
regardless.
can make it we can do the proclamation that day.
Okay,
If he can't make it,
That's
fine,
fine.
but if he wants to come up and watch me read it, I'll do it.
okay.
Okay.
Got her.
Under B,
Business. Yep. Andrea made it. You're on.
Andrea,
3 minutes late.
Ken.
I was late, sorry.
fine.
I'm not, do you speak from here?
It's
from-
totally up to
You
you.
can speak from wherever you feel comfortable,
Well.
unless the press wants your photo.
Yes.
Do you want me to stand there? What do you
You're
want,
fine.
Jennifer?
You're fine.
You're fine.
Yeah, you're absolutely fine. Okay. I'm just helping.
Are we smiling or are we talking? Is this action?
Anytime, Andrea.
Okay.
Andrea's from the Boys and Girls Clubs. Yes.
So I'm the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club of the Bemidji area. And the cool thing is that this is area. So we're very, very excited about the opportunity to launch a Blackduck branch this fall. So in your packet, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I missed the 2 o'clock deadline.
You were so close.
I was like, it's 2:07.
You're so
Oh,
close.
no. That's how my day's been going. I've been running about 5 to 7 minutes late all day. Anyway, so in your packet, you will have a full press release. Jennifer, was it in the Blackduck American this
Yes,
past
it
weekend?
was.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So maybe you've already read this. But it's a longy press release, because we wanted to just kind of tell a little bit of the backstory. And, part of how this has kind of come to be in terms of our partnership. Oh, let's,
It's in this past month.
oh, very, very nice. So we wanted to just kind of share about. Is this is not, is this okay?
Yeah, that's
You're
fine.
not-
Yeah.
We can't see you on camera.
That's okay.
It's okay. Sorry, it's fine.
Sorry.
I can hear you. That's good.
Anyway, just to keep it moving, so full press release talks just about the partnership. We'll co-locate out of the school, which is very, very exciting. The superintendent and dean of students and the principals have been so gracious and welcoming. And so we are very, very excited. There's my team is like, there's like a million details between now and the first day of school. So we will need a lot of time up here in Blackduck. We will be hiring 2 full-time people and then one full-time person, which will be called the branch director. So that would be kind of in charge of all the programs, the relationship with the school, any partnership programs that might come in. An example of that might be like in Bemidji, we have the scouts come in once a week, and we have peacemaker resources come in once a week, and we have the science center come in once a week. So if there's additional partnerships, I heard that there's a very strong 4-H presence here. And also, finding ways to coordinate and communicate too with Mal and community ed. So anyway, press release, and then here's kind of just a 1-page flyer that talks about what we're about. So what we're about is really about academics, about health, and about leadership opportunities for our kids. And based off of upwards of probably 45 interviews with community members in December and January, we heard a lot of feedback. And so decided to frame this program for K-8. Maybe in another phase will come along in several years once that's kind of up and rolling, but we will focus our energies on K-8. It also will be Monday programming, because I know that this is a 4-day-a-week school setting here, and so Mondays we'll have programming as well as, so then Tuesday through Friday after school, and we'll plan for a 2025 summer program. So that's kind of what it is in general about. we have some next steps on this particular handout. So next step is to kind of form the advisory committee, recruit people to this kickoff crew. So I guess this is my shameless plug. It was my plug at the chamber meeting last week, but my shameless plug
Shameless plug.
is here. Is if there is if there are any of you or people that you know that would join us for a kickoff crew. So what that means is a 1-year commitment, kind of from July to July. We literally will move into the school space, the co-located space in August. That's when Randy says that, and everybody knows Randy. What's Randy's last name, by the way?
Noterman.
Noterman. I was like, he's probably the only Randy that everybody knows, you know what I mean, that works for the school and keeps it so nice. He was just really great to visit with a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, they've got a lot of projects at the school this summer. So they're gonna be refreshing some things and updating some things and moving some things. And so the space that we'll co-locate in will be available around August 1st. So part of the kickoff crew is, hey, could you join us in spreading the news about this? Which is a great opportunity. So thank you, Max, for the invitation to be here today. I already have the chamber application received, so I'll get that sent off. But help us make connections. So there's other great programs in your community. So making connections with those programs, making connections with volunteers, making connections with potential people who are joining our team. So going back to the staffing portion, so there'll be a branch director. Then there will be a full-time person, but it'll be split 50% here, or 50% for Blackduck and 50% for Bemidji. And that's a resource development and grants coordinator. So this program needs to be sustainable. We have this beautiful kind of miracle kind of grants from the state of Minnesota, kind of get a lot of this up and running for the first 2 years, but then, we don't want to do it for 2 years. We want to be like, we've been in operation for 20 years in Bemidji, and some clubs have been in operation since the mid 1800s. So we want to be here for a long time, because that is where it is for the kids in terms of relationships. So Max, you even said
My daughter went to
the club in
Boys and
Bemidji
Girls Club in Bemidji, and it was,
a few moons ago.
yes. A few.
There was a staff person that came in with a local charter school to the club this morning. And the local charter school was donating 2 hours of service, kind of give back to the community. And he's like, do you remember me? I was a club member in 2010. And I was like, let me think about what you looked like in 2010, like roll that, so providing opportunities and safe spaces for kids to learn, get help with their homework, get the opportunity to learn about things that are going to keep them healthy, keep them on track, and learn and give them opportunities to be our future leaders, because it's coming. They are going to be our future leaders. So we want to be there to help guide and lead and mentor them. So anyway, information about, actually my name is not on here, but if you do the text sign up, the remind text at BGC BDuck to 81010, then you'll get on the list of like, hey, things are happening. And oh, by the way, we're gonna need people to help us move the lockers and furniture and put in a pencil sharpener and, all the things in August, as well as to have open houses and pour lemonade and get people excited and encourage people to register and all the things. So you all have these, but you want, I'll just pass them on and you can take if you wish, and if not, that's okay. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't think we have that handout, but
Should be in your new final agenda. I sent the final out, and then Andrew got me the
Copy.
document that I should
So
send
that
you
my
final.
final,
if you have,
the one that came at later than 2 o'clock.
We got some in school.
Yes.
it sounds like you'll have a dedicated room or space in the building, is that?
Now, Don, I know you work with the Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts,
Yep.
so
The chairperson.
Yeah, we have a great relationship in Bemidji with the scouts. So that bloomed actually during COVID, because scouting it was hard to meet in packs and troops, or groups. At that time, and I was like, well, we still had kids coming into the club, and it was really great. But there's like 65 of our members that went through the full process of getting all these badges and everything like that, and Scouts just comes in as a partner because it helps fulfill their mission. But it's really, really great opportunity for our kids.
I would like everybody to know that Molly's here from the ambulance service. Because they could come in and do presentations as well, is what we had talked about at the last ambulance board meeting, or, excuse me, Front Powers meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's opportunity for all kinds of new and creative partnerships, so.
And the other reason Molly was here tonight too was I had something else for everyone.
I
Is
think,
there any other questions?
I
for
think it's a
Andrea?
great thing. It's coming to Black.
I think it's something that, you know, the city needs to, if we want to invest in something, that's a great place to do it.
I don't even know how. But it's here. Perfect.
There's nothing else, we can go on with the cleanup.
Yeah, just a shameless plug. We agreed to have our spring cleanup event come back again in May. I'm taking registrations if you'll email or call me. Paige's got a lot of stuff going on. She's helping out with wood carvers this year, so please contact me and I will get you registered.
Okay.
There are some restrictions, so.
How many folks are picking up this year?
So at the moment, I have three places signed up. One of them is the senior apartments. As Bobby Joe said, wanted to know what kind of, she's the new site manager there. She wanted to know what kind of restrictions there are. She said, you know, there's some folks in her building that probably have some stuff that they can't obviously bring to the transfer station. So kind of emailed her back and gave her some of those restrictions. So, you know, we have the right to not pick something up. I also explained to her to leave it, we won't go into your building. We'll pick it up on the curb, so they still need to be able to get it out there. So right now they're registered. I don't know what is going to be picked up.
So, Commissioner. Christie. How many people are we having from the planning commission? Everybody's pitching in to.
I sounds like we have 3 people from last week's meeting. And John, and I thought Kurt said he was available.
Yeah, because I think.
Sure was gonna be available
I
too.
thought that's what he said, yes.
Yeah, truck trailer. I can help.
You can help?
I got a truck trailer.
I love it. I
Thank
love
you.
to hear it.
Do you have particular spots for pickups?
We just ask that the residents, contact me, with their address, who they are, and a contact phone number, and some, you know, a small list of what they have to pick up. And then, they have to leave it on their curb stop and we'll drive by and get it. Yep.
It's been remarkably successful the last few years.
Yeah, it's been well received.
Now,
Although after Don's comment about the transfer station charging, I'm thinking we might need a little bit more petty cash that day. Well, we'll see. We do have a charge account up there, so if we need to, hopefully
Okay, then I'll be there to
sign for it.
take care of that.
Yeah,
Or
I
Dawn could, even if I'm not.
Obviously,
I do
there's-
intend on being-
obviously, there's some things that, you know, we won't pick up that, you know, don't do, you know, building materials. That's a no.
Yard waste, the leaves,
No, because it's too difficult to transport, you know.
all of a sudden you got a bag that's broken and leaves are blowing down the highway and.
Yeah. So, you know, we want everybody to be able to participate for things that they can't get them themselves. I mean, if I had a
mattress, the
2-door
freezer,
vehicle, I wouldn't be getting a mattress up there, or, you know, a small chair or something like that, or a broken desk.
is it on the website or anything? What is
It is on the website and it's
And-
been on our social media too.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay, I'll keep you in the
Mike?
loop. Thank you.
did you get a letter too?
For,
Canadian flag?
I did not.
Okay,
What is the letter you speak of?
I have a letter.
From a resident or what?
Correct, sir.
Yeah, I kind of heard some stuff through the grapevine and after the question you asked me last week. I thought, or last meeting, I thought maybe we'd have a little discussion about it and see if we want to get rid of it.
I think it's a big discussion to have. Is there? Does anybody in this room know why we have the Canadian flag flying at Wayside Rest? It has been that way since
Forever.
forever that I can remember.
It is,
And I
and
have,
it's
for the-
not uncommon within a couple hundred miles of the border anywhere that you're seeing both American and Canadian flags. And there's one at the Wayside Rest, the rest stop area by Baxter. Also, and they're a lot farther from the border than we are. Is it offensive to someone?
yes, I think so.
It would seem that way. It would seem that way from what I've heard.
Is it more than one person or just one person?
I have received only, I think I've been asked once, and I have received one written complaint now. In the time that I've,
From the same person.
no,
Oh, okay,
I think it's starting to travel,
got it.
is what's going on.
but this is over, the course of 4 years.
Mhm.
And only 2 people have said, hey, why are you flying the Canadian flag?
Will we get war?
I,
I mean, is there something I'm unaware of?
No, I know we're all kind of
well, I
in the same
mean,
boat
of
here.
all the countries we have to be upset with at the moment.
I don't think Canada's one.
I don't know that Canada's on our list, but at the same time, I do see a very valid point.
Yeah, I understand it either way, and that's why I thought we'd have a discussion, and I would leave it to the council. If you guys want to take it down, I have absolutely no problem taking it down. Been that way since I came.
Yeah. Do we just keep doing it because we've always just kept doing it?
Well, this town's done a lot of that stuff, and we've been changing a lot of that recently,
No.
so. Just
I
because it
would
was
have
always
no-
done a certain way doesn't mean it has to continue.
I would have no trouble flying 2 American flags.
Or Minnesota.
There
There is
There
by
is,
the-
it's by the
It's by the Veterans Memorial.
memorial.
This is probably a question for the community.
We represent the community.
More of the community.
Well. I don't think it needs to go to a vote. On a ballot or anything.
No, that's not what I mean. Yeah,
But we're having, you have the conversation now, you go out and find out, ask people.
that's what I'm saying.
And I bet some of them are gonna say there's flags at the Wayside Rest.
I would think you're gonna get an overabundance of, I don't really care. Out of the deal, because that's what I've gathered from most people is. I could care less if we fly the Canadian flag or not. That seems to be I've talked to a handful of people about it, and whether it flies or doesn't fly, doesn't seem to matter. Yeah, that's exactly, I was like, well, that's of no help to me.
It's common enough, I think, in this area. When Max showed me the letter a couple weeks ago, my comment was, we have a Canadian flag on the rest area. I honestly did not know that.
Exactly, yep.
Next time I went by, I looked and there it is. So,
And I can remember being at the Wood Carvers Festival. And they sang the Canadian national anthem after ours.
Mhm.
But I don't know.
Well, over the years, the Wood Carvers Festival had quite a few carvers from Canada. Whether or not we still do, I don't know. But
I'm
Good point.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like there's more protocol though.
It's a good point, yeah.
One is higher than the other, or if one is on the left and one is on the right. The
correct.
Positioning of the flags versus if there's 2, then if they're,
Mhm.
Well, I think as you view it from the public area, the nation you're in should always be on the flag.
Okay. I don't know, I could abstain. Melissa's from International Falls, that's too close.
It depends on what you're looking at from. Are you looking at it from within the park or are you looking at it from the highway? You know, which way is the
It,
proper
well,
left?
it flanks the duck, so.
I was gonna say in relationship to the direction the duck is facing.
Yeah.
They-
Probably be.
That's how we fly our flags, whichever way the duck faces.
Well, they're
that's the right
behind,
way.
they're behind the duck, which means if you look at it from 71, the US flag is on the left-hand side. So,
Yes, which is the way it is.
I guess, at the risk of rattling a few feathers or ruffling a few feathers, let's try flying 2 American flags. I see the Canadian one is actually tattered anyway and needs to come down.
how about I put up a larger state flag? Does that work?
Minnesota still has to.
Yeah, I love that.
And
Right.
What would be the purpose of having 2 American flags in the same spot?
They're very American.
that doesn't make any sense. Or we
People
create,
on the back of their pickups, that doesn't make sense either.
Okay, the other option
That's
is,
actually in violation of the flag code.
the other option is I could remove that pole and put a larger American flag there. On the current pole that we have.
What size is there now? 5 or 3 by
3 by 5, I think is what's there right now. 5 by 7 or something there. Cause you have by
We could
the,
leave it blank for a month,
take it down and see if anyone notices.
see what you get from that, but
do that. We do whatever the council wants me to do.
okay, so yeah, otherwise, yeah, if you're not gonna fly the Canadian flag, then you've got a blank pole sitting up there,
And like I said, I can take the pole down.
Mhm.
and fly the Minnesota flag, but
I can take the pole down and move the pole to the new public works building. And fly a flag out there, we kind of wanting to do that anyway.
Right.
Public Works Police Facility, we put the pole over there.
So,
Not a form of hospitality though.
yeah, circling back, the whole question is the Canadian flag stay or not? I mean, there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of things that we can do. I see lots of traffic from Ontario
Mhm.
in and out of town between us or between the border and Bemidji
I mean,
constantly.
you don't want to all of a sudden be seen as unwelcoming to Canadian traffic.
I honestly, I never saw any reason for it to be a bad thing. We get tons of people that
It shows
vacation
up.
here from Canada. It's
So it's-
not just the border cities, it's us too, it's all like
There
Jennifer
are
said,
Canadian flags all over
Yeah.
Minnesota. I mean, I don't see it as, it's like a neighbor thing.
right? I don't see why we should take it down.
And, you know, if you travel outside the United States, we are one of the most nationalistic exclusivity kind of countries. There, in other countries, you see a lot more of displays of other nations' flags, as a, you know, as a part of their welcoming culture that this country does not have.
Well, I know many Canadian sporting arenas have US.
Have a US flag.
Particularly there, a much
Mhm.
extreme sports on hockey. You see the US flag in a not as prominent position as.
Of course, and it shouldn't be, but just, I'm trying to wrap my head around it being offensive.
I mean, if it's a Russian flag. it's a-
But that would be a little different.
I think you guys should keep it, but I don't get a vote.
Want me to make it smaller?
Lower,
lower, make the American
lower
flag
would be
bigger.
more receptive, I think,
Quarter down,
because the
Okay,
poles are the same height, right?
yes,
And
Yeah,
if
I would
you are
lower it.
gonna get a new one in the US, then maybe, sometimes we increase the size.
well, this is what I'm saying, I mean,
we can fly a bigger US flag and lower
The
the
Canadian flag.
Canadian flag. That's what,
But not to have.
good,
that sounds like it's reasonable. Like I said, to me, I guess I always assumed it was a welcoming thing, not a,
I know what I figured, I mean, you see them all over the place.
I'm just going off of the letter and I just asked you.
I know, like I said, I've heard about it, it's,
All right,
Figure
Okay,
it's the
We have
flag.
a forum section on every council.
I'm more than welcome to. And I had something else for Molly this evening. At our joint powers meeting. It had been brought up that in the past, she had given CPR training to staff. City staff. And I was wondering what the council thought and what department heads would think. Mike? Yeah, I'm looking at you, you're the only department head here tonight, so. I actually wanted to run it past Misty and Shonda too, but they're not here. Usually everybody is here, but. You're not right across from the ambulance garage, you can't go, hey Molly, anymore, and she'll
no,
come.
you know what, I spent my years. Prior to being here, being on the volunteer fire department. Personally, I really don't want the responsibility of it. I don't want that falling on me. If you want me to do it, I'll do it. I mean, the ambulance is, we're not right across the road anymore, but Blackduck's not New York City. We're just down the
Yeah.
street.
I'm already CPR certified. I was done a long time ago. To me, you could probably do a refresher. But
My question was.
I've already done it once in my life, and me personally, as a human, it was horribly tragic for me to have to experience it because it was a family member and I don't ever want to have to experience it again.
I would like to leave it up to the department. If, Mike, you're the supervisor, if you say, I don't want the headache, then
I wouldn't call it a
I-
headache. I wouldn't call it a
I
headache.
don't call it a headache at all, but
If somebody was in danger.
trust-
as a
Not gonna
first
offend
person-
me one bit. It was simply a conversation that Max and I had.
I trust her
And
a
he
lot
asked
more than
about it.
myself.
Yep.
So.
If somebody needed help,
So
Max, if somebody needed
It's
help in City
available.
Hall, I'd be all over it. I mean, I'm married to a first responder and have been for 30+ years, so I would jump in if I had to.
Okay.
But
now that brings me to my other point, the other departments at the pond or out at the golf course.
we can't speak for them. Yeah,
Correct. And if the training's not available, can you supply can the ambulance find like AEDs?
well, there's grants out there that we can write for AEDs, and honestly, they should be in every public facility building we have, and we don't have them. There's one in the squad, and I think the fire department has more than one.
They probably have more than one. I would
But
assume.
we don't have them in our facilities, and we probably should.
Be trained how to use them, or is it something that you need to be trained on how to use, or? is it-
typically, if you receive one as a grant, training is required as part of that grant experience.
Okay.
Which I also do. It's just an opportunity that can be out there for staff that Max was interested in. Since I'm an instructor, if any of the department heads are interested in it, we can certainly do that. There are times when the ambulance is out on other calls and we may be gone for 2 to 3 hours. So it's not a terrible idea for some people to maybe at least know what to do to respond. It was part of the discussion that we had as well, so.
And all kidding aside, but. There are bad strokes to have out on the golf course. not just the number in your name. If somebody out there can respond heck of a lot quicker, you might make the difference. I don't know. It's just my thought.
I think there has been previous offers. When I sat on the ambulance board and extended Molly's training facility to department heads. The fund at one point, I don't believe I got a whole lot of response out of it, so I would provide it as an individual department request if they want to host a training for their staff.
Okay.
It
Molly,
was
do you want-
probably 10+ years ago when we did city staff, it was out at the golf course, I think Karen might have still been here probably. So it's, again, I don't care either way, it's just out there for you guys.
Do you wanna reach out to Misty? Do you want me to reach out to Misty and Shonda?
Oh, I will reach
You
out.
can reach out?
I don't think Molly needs to do that.
Okay.
No, I will provide the offer and if there is reception, make that connection.
I think, you know, the liquor store and the golf course are obviously the two places where the public is. So,
For the guys, I was just thinking, you know, I know most some days you might not wanna say it, Chris, or
Listen, we've got a running deal. If any of us go down at work, you just leave us alone. Just leave us be.
Stay in the uniform.
Leave us alone.
Okay.
We're not at work, drag us to work.
Right on.
Okay, with that. That's all I've got, unless somebody's got something else they wanna, usually you've got something.
I've got nothing in mind.
Oh,
Nothing.
any questions, even from the public? Motion to adjourn?
we adjourn the meeting?
Second that.
You know, motion, second, all in favor? Aye.
I
Opposed? None, motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Am I, what, are you around? Am I around on Wednesday? And I think I'm partially.